Hello guys and welcome to another legendary stream right here on Twitch and YouTube. Finally back. It's been a long gap again. I apologize, but it's been an insanely productive week. Dogmas, congratulations on being first on YouTube. And Vian's lifestyle. Thank you so much for being first on YouTube. And Dogmas, congrats on being first on Twitch. That's what I meant to say. I'm twisting things up. Yes, I have seen the video of Bulky Star. Partially, I've watched it. Basically, what the YouTube comments were saying is there is another person that has actually obtained 2 full netherite beacons. And, well, I don't think you can compare it because they used the lava fog removing method and then getting it mostly that way. And no, you're not first on YouTube, and therefore I don't think you can compare it. And obviously in my world I've also collected like a stack of deep emeralds, stack of old shards, stack of suspicious sand, gravel, that kind of stuff. And I don't think removing fog is like perfectly vanilla. It's just a different method, so I don't think you can compare it to what I have. And the thing is, I'm probably like 2 streams away from having the same amount, so I'll beat that anyways. Regardless. That will be cool. Now, I wasn't sure if I wanted to do this, but I think I'm gonna do a very brief Minecraft tracker devlog. I think, like, I still don't have much to, like, visualize. I still haven't gotten to the visualization, but I still think it's gonna be cool to show this. So, I will just switch over and quickly show what I've been working on and what the potential will be. I think I'm gonna start off. So, very short update on what my tracker situation currently is. And obviously, the main place for you guys to go will be my GitHub page. And I've upgraded it quite a bit. So basically, I just say like it's a highly customizable tool to track Minecraft progress beyond just advancements, which I find pretty cool. Then ChatGPT helped me generate a logo, which I find pretty cool. I did tweak it quite a lot with Photoshop still. So I like moved this inner part and did some refinement on the text. So it's good enough. And yeah, some stuff here. I don't have any releases yet, so the tracker isn't actually finished. But this is just a place to go. You can read through this stuff, blah, blah, blah. I'll explain some of it, and there's definitely more I need to add. But the main point is, this tracker will fully support even modded advancements, modded statistics. Oh yeah! Happy American Day! Happy Independence Day, right? Yeah! Wait, it's the 4th of July! Oh my god. Happy Independence Day! Let's freaking go! Wait! I didn't realize. Sorry. That's actually kind of hype. That is actually really hype. Like, literally today, I got my full, like, motorcycle license. And I never knew that was an Independence Day. So, I got my actual motorcycle license, like the lower tier, 2 years ago on the Independence Day, and I guess the full one today on Independence. That's kind of sick, actually. Well, happy Independence Day. That is hopefully gonna make your day like even better. Yeah, thank you for pointing that out. I don't know how I didn't think about that. Anyways, the main idea is that you will be editing a template file. Let me just open this up. So basically, this tracker will be able to support blazing caves, any kind of mods, even modded statistics, modded recipes, anything you can imagine. It's absolutely insane. And basically, you can see at this point, I'm also using Git and everything to obviously push all this stuff. Here, right below my face cam, you can see all the beautiful source files. Can I switch? Oh, this is the scene I'm in. Yeah, whatever. We have a few. Yeah, hacking the mainframe. No, this is insane. I think this is still the same error. Yeah. Okay, this doesn't matter. Basically, I'm going to try and explain this as simply as possible. I'm going to make it very user-friendly, so you don't have to bother about half of this stuff. But the main point is, you will be creating, or I'm going to create default templates as well. But basically, templates, those are the big thing. They're in this kind of format. This format might kind of look like how the in-game advancements file looks like in the saves folder. And obviously that is kind of the point. It has similarities. The main point is, in this file, you define yourself which advancements you want to track. Let's make it a little bigger. Oh, can I not zoom in here? Yeah, sorry if it's a little small, but here it says advancements. Then you can go down, you define your own stats, you define your own unlocks. This is for the April Fool's snapshot only, for the craft mine. Then you can define custom. This is where it gets pretty insane, because I've just created example stuff that kind of shows what is possible. You can either make a goal that you can manually check off, or if you add this target down here, it's gonna be a custom counter that you can increase with a hotkey that you can configure. So this is basically the settings currently. Choose manual save path. You can also do automatic, but then it just reads the app data. You put in the saves file. You can paste it in the way it is on Windows. It might give me like, it says it's like an error here, but this is totally fine. This is all handled. You just paste in how it's on Windows. You select the version. You select the category. I'm going to change this to acquire hardware to show it later. This is an optional flag. And then this is where the custom progress is going to be saved. So when you set this to true, it's going to just say, yup, you have the Unbreaking 3 book, basically. And I just made a Deep Set Emerald counter that works when pressing page up or page down. This is all stuff you'll be able to configure. But let's just run it, and I will show how it works. I'm going to open the console because I want to have file output. So basically, this is not the Windows console. This is like a special console for C code debugging, whatever. The console in C-line here doesn't work, so I need to use that. I'm going to open an Explorer. I'm going to take the file path where Advancedly is going to be. Compile this again. Yep, there's nothing to do. I'm just going to paste this in. Boom. All right. Now I'm already in the file path here. This doesn't matter. I'm going to close this. Close this. And what we're now going to do, currently the tracker is set to track the instance of my April Fool's snapshot. This is basically, I've made it so I can test everything the tracker can do in a single instance. And obviously the April Fool's snapshot has the unlocks and everything, so I need to play in the April Fool's snapshot. But it works on any version, basically, that you want to have. Like, it will support any version, and that's going to be pretty crazy. So, I'm going to keep this as like half a window, whatever. And we have the output here. So I can just basically start the tracker. We don't really need this. Again, there's nothing displaying yet. But the interesting stuff happens here now. You can see the player progress status. This will all be visualized. And basically, it's a little complicated to show this with the template files now, but I will do that anyways. Maybe go here, resources, templates, into the snapshot right here, and it's this template file. So basically, you have the template file and the language file. This will all be automatically created. The language file only has the translations that the user will see. So you can see like lock and arrow here, which is lock and arrow. You can see acquire hardware. There's acquire hardware, right, like right here. Then it also detects if the advancements have any sub-criteria, like adventuring time, for example, has the different biomes as sub-criteria, but these have 0. And you can see, for example, they're incomplete. So let me just run through. Well, this is basically just a special advancement that allows me to have different sub-criteria. This is all kind of matched with how it's called in-game. I'll not go too in depth there. Then these are also more advancements that basically I've already implemented. So think of the Hoglin. The Hoglin is the best example with the current AA tool. The Hoglin is part of Monsters Hunted. So like you need to kill the Hoglin, but the Hoglin is also part of 2x2. You have to breed it. So basically you have the Hoglin being part of 2 advancements. And obviously, when displaying the Hoglin as like a sub part of an advancement, you want to be able to tell apart which Hoglin belongs to which advancement. And that's basically what I do this for. Both of these have the criteria completed event, right? So they have a shared criteria. And you can see that right here. This shared right here only appears when it detects that an advancement, or basically it checks all the advancements, and when certain advancements have the same criteria, it will display that as shared and then overlay the icon of the actual advancement. So when the Hoglin that belongs to Monsters Hunted will have the diamond sword, and the Hoglin that belongs to 2x2 will have the golden carrot, stuff like that. And that's going to make it all a lot more organized. So this is just the translation stuff. You can translate the multi-stages. We're going to go through this. This is going to be insane. And yeah, this is the raw thing that you will have to like build, but I'll basically allow you to easily make this through the settings. I've already started doing that. And the main point is we have the sub-criteria. You always have to define what icon image you want to have. So it's like the PNG files. I'll be downloading everything from like the Minecraft wiki. And how far on my cheat inventory challenge? We are gonna go into it tomorrow. We have like 20 or 30,000 blocks left for the 3rd corner. So like tomorrow at 3 p.m. I'll start. I know it's a bit annoying for you, but that's actually really annoying. But I don't want to do it in between. Yeah, but I wanted to have a longer stream tomorrow. So like I'll start 3 p.m. tomorrow, which is like the 12-hour stream that I have mentioned in the title. But we'll have the 3rd nether corner tomorrow, yeah. It's not gonna be that special, because, like, what are you gonna miss? It's just gonna be like a nether biome, and then it's gonna teleport us back to an overworld corner that we already know, like the river one. But yeah, we will hit the next nether corner tomorrow, easily. Now, you can see it also allows me to track stats, like how many oak logs I've mined. And it allows me to, yeah, and this is an example that you can set the target to -1. I'll refine this a little bit, but basically if you set the target of a statistics advancement to -1, like here it's about mining acacia logs, it tracks how many acacia logs I've mined, and if the target is -1, you can just go indefinitely. You can just increase the statistic more and more. It's basically just, you read the statistics, but there's no goal. And in this case, with stats, you can always manually check them off. You can always manually check them off in the settings, which are in the config settings. So watch this. Watch this. We're not even in a world yet. But oh yeah, you guys can see the mine as many acacia logs as you can thing says 4 out of -1 is already complete. But we can make that incomplete by simply changing this. Boom. And it now says incomplete. So basically it reads this settings file all the time and updates accordingly. We can also say, so this is basically a manual override. This is meant for when you farm ancient debris, for example. You can put a statistics goal, set it up to be like mine 20 ancient debris. But if you do get some ancient debris through bastions, you're not going to reach to 20. And that's when you're going to manually set this to true. Obviously, if you do spelling mistakes, that's going to be annoying. But if you manually set this to true, this is just going to... You just have to do a mouse click, ultimately. That's the point. But I set this to true, and now the mine for oak logs is also complete. Super, super chill. And it gets a little complicated. I'll definitely do a deeper dive, but let's just get into things, and I'll quickly show. So the main point is, and this is the crazy part, you can switch instances while the tracker is running and it will free all the memory of the previous saves folder stuff, read the new saves folder, you can switch template files while you're going, and it will automatically create template files if they're not there yet. I'll not show all that, but that is crazy like file management stuff. That's why there's so much happening in the background and barely anything being displayed. But we're gonna make Advancedly Test 11 already. You can currently see we are tracking Advancedly Test 9. So that is the latest world that it found. It will scan the saves folder, detect the latest world. Pretty simple stuff. I'm gonna allow commands. We're just gonna go. Oh, standard settings, make it full screen. Let's not do that. All right, now let's get the face cam back into the corner. So yeah, this is good enough. You guys just kind of have to look at this screen here. Oh yeah, perfect. I can make this bigger. Okay, this is cool. Good. So this is the progress that matters. Basically, player progress status, and basically there's two separate progression metrics. One progress metric it's still an all advancements tracker at its core. So one progression metric always tells you, or we should look at the bottom here. One progression metric always tells you how many advancements have you completed. How many advancements have you defined in your template file? Currently it's 6. And how many out of those have you completed? You can see the only advancement that is currently completed is the recipe. Recipes are also in the advancements file because they pop up in like the top left, top right corner. So this is actually completed, and that is the only one that is completed here. The overall progress is basically everything else. Any statistic advancements, any unlocks that you want to track, any custom goals that you have to manually check off, or counters that do automatically check off based on the target, and multi-stage goals. So this is where things get crazy. It kind of treats everything as equal parts. So basically, I've set up a multi-stage goal, and we'll go through this, that requires you to first, actually we can go back into the template that is being used. Wire hardware. You can see multi-stage goal right here. Multi-stage goal right here, and it needs unique identifiers for the language file. That's why it's called like this. You can define this completely yourself. As long as this and like these individual stage IDs, as long as they match what is in this language file. So like multi-stage goal, MS, getting started, display name is basically fetched from this. And the individual stages like 0, 1, 2, and final need to be the 0, 1, 2, and final. This just needs to match. That is, but I will make this very, very user-friendly, don't worry. And now, and this is kind of what the initial AA tool has as well, the idea is it allows for consecutive progress. So for example, when you pick up a trident, it will say awaiting thunder. When you get one of the thunder advancements, it's sequentially though, but you can get a thunder advancement, it will still show incomplete. You can get the other thunder advancement, then it will show thunder done. It's kind of this multi-stage process that you can define as a goal as well. And here I've just said, hey, you first need to mine 8 dirt, then get an iron armor piece. So this is a statistic advancement. This is statistics. This is the iron armor, the suit up advancement. Then you pick up 4 sand, and then you're done. And you can clearly see this tracks the mined dirt statistic. This tracks the story obtain armor advancement. You're completely free on this. Anything that is in the unlocks, statistics, or advancement file, you can put here. And you just have to get the according translations. But again, this is going to be more user-friendly. And then you can see it tracks the picked up statistic. Here, this is the mine statistic. This is actually the picked up statistic on the sand. And in the final stage, you need to put this here to actually show that it's done. The final stage in the language file has the done down here. Right, so I'm going to close all this. We're just going to go in. Don't know if you guys have audio. Will this? Oh yeah, you guys have audio. Cool. So we're just gonna go in. I'm gonna quickly show it. We have cheats enabled, so it's not gonna take too long. So we're just gonna go in. Obviously, I'm playing the April Fool's version to show what's going on. But yeah, within multi-stage goals, I'm actually gonna quickly note this down. Within multi-stage goals, you can also track, like, if you have certain unlocks completed, which in this version are these player unlocks. Yo, John, welcome in, welcome. I'm quickly giving a brief rundown on the tracker software that I'm developing right now. Hope we don't have something fantastic. I quickly need to take a goal and test this as well, but it should work. Unlock in multi-stage goals. I need to test that though. But look at this now. So I'm gonna try and make this as easily understandable as possible. We have started a completely fresh world. I manually set the mine 4 o'clocks to complete. Let's remove that. Let's actually go from 0. I think that is the most understandable. So we're gonna set all the manual ones to false. This is just gonna be a mouse click in the GUI. And we're gonna set the emerald count to 0. Now, what can I do? So you can see we have reset everything. It tracks the right world. We have 0 out of the 6 advancements, and 0% progress is being displayed. Now, I've set the advancement block and arrow, so that it's just using a shield, right? So let's quickly just get a shield. Obviously, with the mods that we have, shields work perfectly fine again in this version. We're just going to do a bow and arrow. So it's just going to be like, do that. And now watch the first advancement and the advancement progress. I pause, boom, it updates. We have 1 advancement completed. The block and arrow advancement is completed. And it also shows the progress on here. Note, the overall progress is independent. It's always going to show the progress on the advancements and a % progress on the rest of the things. Now, acquire hardware is the next advancement. So this would require us to get an iron ingot. So we just do like / give a p iron ingot. Boom, we have that. We get acquire hardware, and boom, acquire hardware is completed. Acquire hardware and like these advancements don't have any criteria, so they're just displaying 0 here. That's perfectly fine. Then this is an advancement that requires you to defeat like all the special event mines with like the Warden boss, the Ender Dragon, whatever. Because in this snapshot, you can create your own worlds basically, and 9 of those are boss worlds. And I just picked an advancement that had subparts. So, but we can't really do that. So I'm gonna do advancement grant at P only. And it's gonna be this special, all special mines completed. And I'm just gonna do like angry ghast boss. That's gonna be this one right here. That I'm gonna give myself, boom, and the angry ghast boss is done. And 1 of the 9 subparts of this advancement is done. And note, now the progress down here went up. It treats every subpart as like equally big chunks of the overall progress. And obviously, I could give myself another one, Ender Dragon boss, boom, and that gets us to 10% already. Right? And you can see the Ender Dragon boss is done right here. I can give myself the entire advancement, boom, and it will say everything done. It will show completed, gets the progress up quite a lot, and we're on 3 advancements now, right? So this big advancement is completed now. Yeah, these are just advancements to show this shared criteria thing, because they both have the same sub-criteria. Which is so loud. So we can do advancement grant a P. Yeah, also if a name isn't specified in the advancement, it's just gonna put the root name here. So it's not gonna break anything if you mess anything up in the language file, in the translation file. But it's obviously nicer to read. Yeah, so we can obviously just do. No, I want to first show the other stuff. Now, 2 more advancements that are just like visiting a special mine, blah, blah, or completing a special mine. We can check now for the statistics. So basically, I have set it up so that the tracker tracks whether I have mined 4 oak logs. So let's just do that. It's only breaking them. So, oh my god, the cow. Yep, there we go. And it puts the progress on mined oak log to 1. We continue. And it's on 2. And then once we hit 4, it's going to display complete. Boom. And 4 out of 4, and it's complete. Progress went up. Now, mine as many acacia logs as you can. This counter, because it has a target of -1, this counter is going to increase indefinitely. So I can basically track the statistic as much as I want. If there's no goal, you just put -1, and it will, yeah, track the statistic as much as you want. It's always going to say incomplete here, unless you go into the config and tell it to be true. So I set it to true here. Look at the console. Look at the console right here. I save. Boom. So you have to manually set it to complete when you have a -1 target. You can go as high as you want, and you'll set it complete eventually. That's going to be very, very cool. Now, I wanted to show the unlocks as well. So unlocks, again, are the things in here. And I've currently only tracked this exploration one and the Ender Pearl starter. I don't even know where it is. I think it's going to show up. So we're going to do unlock, grant, EP only, Minecraft, and it's called exploration. Exploration, boom, 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 boom. This never looked this good. We're not in the game yet. We're not in the game yet, but this is like a big deal for me, all right? And now you can see the exploration unlock is unlocked. So like this is unlocked, and we can also do the starter. And that's Ender Pearl starter. Ender Pearl starter. Boom. It's also unlocked here. Progress is going up, and the unlocks are fully completed. Very, very good. And now, I've already showed this. You can have on the tracker, if for your run, for example, tracking, if you have a specific enchanted book, like an Unbreaking 3 book, doesn't work. So that's also where you have to use this manual option. Now, oh yeah, it shows this false here, that's fine, because the oak log is completed through the target. You can set it to true here, but it won't matter. Yeah, you can set, okay, I have an Unbreaking 3 book now, so you just set this to true, and that gets that completed. And now it gets pretty interesting. Currently, it doesn't work globally. Currently, you still need to be in the tracker and have the tracker like focused. But I can press page up, boom, boom, and you can see the emerald count is going up. Page up, and it's complete right there. And I can also go page down, and it will switch back to incomplete. Very, very cool. And like at this point, you could just say, hey, I'm going to play a different world, or switch my template entirely. You can do that while the tracker and everything is running. So this is insane. So you have the option to make a custom counter that works with hotkeys. I still need to figure out this like global Windows API thing, because currently you need to be in the tracker window for, like, in this case, page up and page down keys to work. But again, those hotkeys you can configure here on the GitHub, which I'll give you guys the link to, or you guys just look it up. On the GitHub, I provided a list of all the keys that you can put here. That was very important for me. Yeah, and you can see I can also manually toggle the counter here. This is where the counter is actually saved. So if I put it to 5, it's going to be on 5 here. I can also manually change it back to 4. It's going to be incomplete. Blah, blah, blah. Very cool. So that's the Deep Slate Emerald count. And now we get to like the craziest thing that I want to show. These advancements here are not that big of a deal. They matter for like the principle of visualization. That they share the same criteria and whatever. Yeah. Very nice. Now basically, it's about this multi-stage goal. So you guys can see it says mine 8 dirt. So this is basically a sequential advancement, or it's a goal. Sequential goal. So let's just mine 8 dirt. So that was grass, and now I just mined the first dirt. That's the second dirt. The third. It's all gonna be on 3. There we go. We're already on 6. And then watch. Boom. Now that statistic is completed, and it switches to the next one. So it's like sequential, and that is the coolest thing ever. So now it tracks an advancement. Get iron armor. So I'm just gonna say give AP iron boots. Boom. We get the suit up advancement, which is exactly what it tracks here. Boom, it's done. And now it switches to the last task and says, hey, pick up 4 sand. This is not the mined statistic. This is now the picked up statistic. So mined, 8 dirt. This is the times mined. But now we're going to track the picked up statistic, which is slightly different because you can break blocks, but you actually have to pick them up. So like I've mined the 4 sand now, but it doesn't do anything. We have to actually pick them up. Boom, right here. And now it says done. So that is like a multi-stage thing. And basically, it can happen that you complete a later stage before a previous one is completed. It's always going to display it's always going to display like the earliest non-completed stage. And when it notices a stage completed, it's going to skip that ultimately. So that doesn't matter. And there's really only one thing that I quickly need to check if unlocks within the multi-stage goal work perfectly, but they should. And yeah, you can see we're at 90%. And these remaining 10% are from like these advancement criteria. The advancement criteria are part of this, but the advancements themselves are here. And so yeah, we're basically done. We can obviously do advancement grants at P. I actually don't know how they're even called. No, we just do everything. And I'm on the safe side. Boom, and it says 100% completed. Yeah, super, super chill. The criteria are done, 1 out of 1, and that is all completed. It's pretty much flawless. I'm only gonna check if the unlocks work in the multi-stage thing as well, but they should. I wouldn't see why. And then yeah, basically pressing X either here or here will close the program. Boom, it will free everything in terms of memory, and you're good to go. And this is crazy. This is crazy. I'm soon gonna get to visualizing everything. But that is the update right now. Small little devlog. We're now gonna go into Tomb Raider. Let's freaking go. Go. I'm gonna have my face cam like down there. Okay. So I still need to make sure the hotkeys are like more or less global. That's gonna be something I'm gonna focus on as well. But currently I'm still in the middle of like redocumenting the entire code and like making my own little documentation and just kind of fixing a lot of small things. Because it works wonders. This is something you wouldn't really believe, but taking your time and not actively working on new features, but actually just going through your existing code and looking at like to-dos that you've put into the code and kind of fixing those, that goes so far. So yeah, I'm currently doing that next. I'll definitely do some more after the stream, working through to-dos, cleaning up the code, and fixing anything that might still be an issue. But dude, it's so much more complicated than you think. Making sure that you can change your saves folder, you can change obviously you can change the set of advancements that you're tracking dynamically while the tracker is still running. But that is not something easy. There's like 10 various functions that only do that. Like it's kind of crazy. All right, I think the options will be good. it's gonna be absolutely wild.